Hello, my Teaserking family. Internet. I saw me freezing, and then it gave me the connection problem. And that's just simply my internet, I guess. Anyway, gold jumped back to 29.14, 175. So you can see the 10 o'clock drop, and now we've hit noon, and it jumped back up, and nowhere to go but up. We've been talking about the market versus the tariffs. So the tariff is simply an extra charge on goods coming in that we buy. So if we buy lumber from Canada, it's goods coming in. Okay. So with that said, my solution is Canada sells the lumber to Norway or Sweden, and we buy the lumber from Norway or Sweden. It's a little bit of a roundabout, or we can do where the U.S. thinks they're buying from Norway or Sweden. Russia does that a lot. They'll put a Norway flag. If you watch the end of 24, season 9, the Chinese get on a Russian ship with a Norway flag. He said, we're flying under the Norway colors. So nobody really knows it's a Russian ship. And maybe they can do that where they can say, well, we're really shipping it to, it's really Norway selling it, so there's no tariff, which is, I assume, what Canada, if they're smart enough, I don't know with Trudeau, but if they're smart enough, that's what they should do. The tariffs will kill the economy to a point, but not necessarily. I mean, it's just, it costs them 10% more to ship it to us. Does that mean, we pay more, and then people think we're going to charge more? And as I've said, the market determines it. I'll pay $30 for ribs. You want to charge 45? There's nobody home. Nobody's going to buy them. Prophet said that Tesla's going out of business. As I said, nobody wants to buy it. They're too expensive. Nobody wants the electric. They catch on fire. Where am I going to find charging stations? It doesn't work in the U.S. It more likely works in Europe, where there's apparently more cities that are close by, and therefore there'd be charging stations. So, like Germany, there's a bunch of cities that you can go and recharge, but it's the pain of recharging. So it works better in Europe, where the gas is more expensive and the cities are closer. So from that standpoint, it's a European thing, but the Europeans don't want it. But yeah, Tesla was too expensive, and the whole thing was stupid. There's no demand for electric cars. Now, apparently, the buy cars that were both gas and oil were okay, because you can still fill up your tank and use the gas, but then why buy the hybrids? Just use that. All right. So free markets, we've explained. Tariffs are just tariffs are strictly an extra fee. Oh, here we go. We got a little Ric Flair. All right, here we go.
Get ready. Woo! We are on tour, and we're doing it better than anybody else alive. Now, Buddy Landell, it's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name, when last year I spent more money on spilled liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo! Get ready. Woo!
Nobody can woo like Ric Flair. Just put you in a good mood. If he would do tariffs, they probably wouldn't charge him. Yeah, we looked at alligator yesterday. Pretty good. Thought I had an Egon one. But anyway, doesn't get any better than Ric Flair wooing. Yeah, he should have ran for president. I guarantee you, he'd have won if Ric Flair ran for president. All his whole like speeches would be Ric Flair. I could see him, with Putin. He'd be like wooing. Can you imagine him with Putin? Putin, I got Rolex watches, diamonds, da 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 da. I got girls, I got drinks, I spend money. I got more money than you. Woo. And I'll bet you Putin knows who Ric Flair is. Everybody knows who Ric Flair is. So really, that's the way the market works, and that's why tariffs aren't necessarily going to cost us anymore. It might raise prices, but as the market, we say no. It might raise costs, which I'm still trying to figure out why GM will have more cost. They don't have to pay the tariff. Can they pass the tariff on? I'd say no. Now it's going to cost the lumber or the steel industries more money because they have to pay the tariff. I'm sure they're getting crushed by their own inflation in Canada or wherever. Name a country, they're all heavily inflated now. So they're all getting screwed in their dollars. So it really doesn't matter. But as I am saying, as the stock market, let's see where the stock market is at. If it's still there, gold 29.14, gold fella go. See, that's the thing. Gold, is going up. The market, is going down. Why do you want to hold your money in something going down? The market at it's 42.5. So it's went up from 42.4 to 42.5. It's down $592 today. All right. So Treasury Secretary Bassett shrugs off tariff sell-off, says Wall Street isn't the focus. He's a Soros guy. He's only interested in killing the economy and destroying the dollar. That's all he would be because he's a Soros guy. So he's saying stock market isn't a concern. What are you focusing on? The debt, the inflation? What is it that you're let's see if the guy tells us. Argued that the market sell-off is responsive. It would be temporary. New duties on Canadian, Mexican, China take effect. Stock market plummet on Monday. In response to the tariffs on Tuesday, futures were down. Well, that filled me with confidence, that little remark that it's temporary because he said so. Like, whatever. So we see gold headed for 3,000. And again, you're sitting there in dollars and you think because you have 500,000 in your 401k or $1 million in your 401k that you're somehow insulated from the inflation, which you don't even know. It's not prices, but it's the dollar losing value. So you don't even understand it. But you think, well, I got $500,000. So, even if prices go up, I'll be okay. I have 500,000 of them. And as the dollar loses value, you now have 400 as this tariff hits. And your stocks go to your 401k went from 500 to 450. And like I said, when it goes to 400, at what point do you reach the boiling point where now it's 350? Now your 401k is worth 300. You just lost 200,000. That's my point on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 81,000 right now. So the question is with Bitcoin, all right, you could have sold it for 105, I think. You just lost $25,000 on Bitcoin. At what point do you keep holding it, assuming it's going to go back up, but you have no idea what it is, and you have no idea why it will go back up? It's only a Ponzi scheme, and it only goes up if Saylor and Fink buy the derivatives and push it up. But are they? And that's the point. So if they can't, then what do you do? So now you're fucked in that situation. And that's really the problem, is figuring out what's going on as far as why is Bitcoin will go back up? Because is not an answer. Why is gold going up? Because of demand, because of low supply, because of BRICS, because the dollar's worthless, because all the rest of the dollars are worthless. So if you can give me the same answer to why Bitcoin's going up, I'll listen. But you can't, because it's not real, and it's got nothing to do with the inflation, because it's priced in dollars. Gold, when the dollar goes out, gold will be the dollar. Gold is money. Bitcoin is not money. Bitcoin is nothing. You don't even know what it is. You can't hold it. You can't see it. How the hell are you? So you're basically spending $85,000 on air. Well, I don't know what is it. I don't know, but it's a digital coin. It's like trying to explain it. You got to be a fucking idiot. So that's really the problem with it. So understand that part of it. And let's see. So what else? So football. I'm hearing. I guess the draft's coming up. It probably comes up, but in March or April. We'll take notes on that. Sports, a bunch of. So I'm on eBay, and I'm looking at. Well, let's see. Let's go to eBay. So I was looking. I want to teach you about eBay. So I'm looking at some of these cards. Oh my God, a jerk off rookie. Oh, these aren't sold. Who would pay 10,000 for a Jared Goff rookie? I think it's out of 5. I don't see that it's numbered. Oh, there it is. So there's a 5 count Jared Goff, and the guy wants $10,000 for it. There's a whole many better cards to buy than that card. You've got to be kidding. But what I'm noticing here is what they're spending it on. Some of these rookies, a Bruce Smith rookie card. All right, $25,000 if you're a Bruce Smith fan. Here's a Wayne Gretzky. See, they fucked up. They signed the card. So here's a Wayne Gretzky Gem Mint 10, but it's autographed. The autograph fucks the card up. Why would you autograph the rookie card? Let's see what the rookie card. It's authentic. So he just got the autograph. Why would I spend $10,000 on a Gretzky autograph? I could probably get it at $100 at a card show. Bryce Harper, 25,000. Like here, CJ Stroud, and you're going to waste $8,000 on CJ Stroud. Horrible investment. What are you doing getting that guy? Now, here, Ronnie Lott, I get $8,000, but it's not PSA, it's BGS. If it was PSA, it's going to get 20,000. Here, this is a waste of $5,500. Jason Tatum. Who's Jason Tatum? You ever hear of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain? Those are the guys you want. I saw Jerry West card yesterday. It was a fortune. I think we need to go into this to the sold. So here, I never heard of this guy, Victor Wembanyama, $6,000. What are you doing? I assume he's a basketball player. What's this? This girl is what? Woman basketball? I don't know what. Maybe she's a soccer player. What are you spending $15,000 on a UEFA? I don't know what that means. Well, it's a 101, but still, who is this girl? I never heard of. Jalen Hurts for $6,000. You got to be kidding. And that's a 25 count. Do you notice only the ones that are kind of limited? Again, here's this Victor guy, 13,000. What are you wasting your money on? He's no Jordan. He's no there. Here's for you. Whatchamacallit? I'm doing a mind fuck. Oh my God, what's my buddy's name? Anyway, here's a Paul Scanes rookie for you for $6,000. That I could understand, but still, it's not. Here's this guy. I don't know who he is. Shea Alexander, $6,000. You got to be, even if he's good, it doesn't matter. It's basketball. Alex Ovechkin, fact. What are you wasting your money on these guys for? LaDainian Tomlinson. I have the card, but I don't think I have the refractor, unfortunately. But I do have that card. So here, this is a card to get, Kareem, but it's a PSA 4, but an autograph. So at least this guy was smart enough to get to autograph the shitty card, because a PSA 4 is not going to sell for 10 grand, but the autograph does. But that's what you should be going after, is this guy's rookie card in a PSA 10 is probably $1 million. That's what I would chase, not some of these guys I've never heard of. WNBA, you got to be kidding. Here's a Kobe for 10 grand. Okay, that makes sense. Well, it's a 50 count. How does 1/50th equal 1 of 1? No, 1/50th equals, let's see what this is all about. Yeah, it's 1 out of 50. So it's not 1 of 1. It's card 1, but it's 50 count. Anyway, the point is, there's my Brady card. That's not a refractor, 77.50. So now this I think I have. This is you know how you get the cards in the starting lineups, and so you didn't think they were worth anything. And I have this starting lineup, and but if you look at it, they're worth $10. But the figure's not worth it. But the card, if it's PSA 10, is worth 6,600. This is the beauty of some of the stuff. Like I was showing you beanies. It's So you got the starting lineup, and then you got the cards in it. Let me show you an example. Does your modem keep cutting out? No. Mm-mm. Actually, I've not seen that note that my thing. It did cut off. I did shut down. I did come back in and redid the video, but no, it's fine. I mean, I see myself fine. I hear myself fine. I'm not getting messages. So that was happening. It didn't happen yesterday or the day before, but it did happen now. But I don't think the modem cuts out. It's just the communication. So if I was working on something or watching, if I was watching YouTube, it might pause for a minute and then it comes back. Even my class, it came back on. And so I was asking you, do you still see me? So if I wait a little bit, it comes back on. On your end, though, it's buffering and it keeps buffering. So I said I'm leaving and coming back on. So no, it might have kept coming on and off, but I was gone at that point. I cut out to come back on, and now I've not had that problem. Well, let me show you the starting lineup I'm talking about. So here's the Michael Jordan that we just saw, right? So I kept it in a plastic because I know the whole thing itself is worth a lot more. If I got this graded, and I believe you can, and it comes back whatever the high grade is, it would be worth a lot of money. But there's the card I was talking. It's $6,600 for that card, but it's got to be a PSA 10, and I think it's a little off center. But I'd behoove me. You got the coin, which I don't think's worth, and even the figure probably not worth much. But together, you get the card, and all of a sudden, the cards in the starting lineup are where you get the value. So you think, oh, the starting lineups didn't do anything. They don't, but the cards did. So I kept all the cards. Some of them, like Montana or Rice or Barry or Emmett, I kept the card, figuring, well, that's, if they're tens, they're worth something. Because for some reason, the market's flooded with starting lineups. Sounds familiar, right? The market's flooded with this. That's why we look for 99 counts. Can't flood the market with a 99 count. This is only valuable if it's a PSA 10 because it's very limited. And then this is very limited because it is the refractor is what makes it limited. Because the price I showed you, that 7,700, is not a refractor. Like I said, I found the refractor yesterday, PSA 8, it was 28,000. So I can only imagine if this is a 10, and I don't know why it wouldn't be, it would be, it could be 100,000. Again, the refractor makes it limited. There was a limited amount of refractors. I don't know the number, but I know it's what it's going for. And again, the PSA 10 makes it limited. So buyers go, oh, I have no risk. It's a PSA 10. If I just sold the card, if I just tried to sell this card and say it's a PSA 10, I would get nowhere near 100,000 for it. Even if I think it's a 10, it's not a 10 until it's graded. And I probably could get a couple thousand for this because I said, look, it's PSA 10. But I couldn't get 100,000 until it's graded. Then the risk is up because you're risking buying this to know if it's really a 10. But if it is a 10, there's no risk, and then you pay 100,000 for it because you got a very limited Montana rookie that is graded 10, so there's no risk. Mine has been a little spotty the day or two. Oh, your modem. It could be the Russians. You know how they like to fuck around. Some days I get Some days it's sunny. I lose the internet. I can't watch TV. Well, I have an antenna, so I watch, but some days I lose electricity. You know why? Some days I lose the internet. Again, you don't know why. So when you're investing in sports cards, you want Kareem and Magic, and don't invest in these new guys. I saw a lot of new guys yesterday. I didn't know who the hell they were. Some of these were new baseball players. Now, I do see most of these that are going for good money is very limited, out of 20 or 25 or something like that, which, okay, if the demand there is for 25. And again, eBay's an auction. It's which card do I want to? Oh, I'm going to go for the Montanas and the Jordans and the Mantles. I'm not going to fuck around with whoever these new baseball players are, or this Caitlin Clark. I mean, I'm not buying a Caitlin Clark or a women's soccer player or whatever these people are. Not going to happen. So keep that in mind. Be very careful who you buy. That's your mistake, is when you buy, especially in baseball, when you buy a new player who's a rookie and he starts out okay and you think he's going to be good, there's no way I would invest anything on him, because only the Hall of Famers that you really know are going to give you a value. Now the players don't play long because they get paid too much. So even Paul Skeens for Luke would want Paul Skeens. There I go. I don't know how I lost your name, Luke, but I apologize for that. But he's a Pittsburgh guy. Maybe he would invest in a Paul Skeens, but you really got to invest in these rookies because you like them. Like Nick likes Joe Burrow. Love Joe Burrow, but the problem is he hasn't won 3 Super Bowls like Mahomes has. And it gets into a Dan Marino, Dan Fouts, where they didn't win any Super Bowls. They don't have much value. You look at Elway versus Marino, same year, same set, and the Elway card's 10 times more than the Marino because he won a couple of Super Bowls and Marino didn't win any. And that's really what you have to look at. So be careful when you invest. And that takes you to investments. Which investment do you do? And that's what's so easy about gold and silver. It's the only place to go. It's your only lifeboat. So again, it's A, B, C, D. So here tariffs come in. That's the problem. And then what happens, right? So the boat hits the iceberg, the water comes in, the boat sinks, you're on the lifeboat. Tariffs hit, costs go up. Now you're dumping your stocks because costs go up. Will price go up? It doesn't matter. I don't think the companies can raise their price to cover the cost if there's new costs, but I don't know where these new costs are coming from. Is Canada going to charge you more for lumber because they have to pay this 10% tariff? I don't know how that works. They can try, but I don't necessarily have to unless you're it. If there's no other place I can buy it from, and then you're insisting I got to pay it because the tariffs are on you, not on me. Like I said, just because of again, with the ribs, you can charge me $45. I ain't going to pay it. I can substitute. You can charge me 35 grand for a Camry, but I'm not going to pay it. And then it went back down to 26, and now you've got me interested again. Okay, I'll pay another couple thousand. I bought mine for 24. Okay, 26. Okay. So just because you tariff lumber and steel and whatever comes in from Mexico, doesn't mean we have to pay it. And then if the companies are stupid enough to pay it, doesn't mean they can charge me the tariff that I got to pay your tariff. I'll buy something else. I don't need to buy that. You really want to get into a situation, you don't need to buy anything. You just buy it because you can, but you don't need to. And that's what happens with it. So that's sports cards. As we talked, it's like sports betting and going to the casino. So I'm going to go to the casino Friday for my birthday, and I'm going to play some poker. I'm going to come with $300 and I'm going to play poker. And if I win, wonderful. If I lose, that's fine. I can afford to lose the 300. Now, if I get up and I'm up $75, I will quit a winner. I will, if depends on my cards and how the feel of the table is. But if I get up, normally I don't look at it. I kind of play the hand. And if it's a good hand, I play it. And then after about an hour, I see what cards I'm getting. And then I go, okay, what am I at? Oh, I'm up $50. Time to leave. If I'm down 50, I'll keep playing. And then I'm either going to lose 300 or I might lose 200. Or if I hit a big hand, I'll get it. I do know I'm more aggressive when I'm down $50. I'll see more flops and try to hit and then be more aggressive to try to get up. When I'm up, I'm more passive because I'm trying to stay a winner depending on my mood and the table. But if I look in his pocket aces, I'm going to play it aggressive. If I lose, I lose. That's the time that people don't understand. So you are playing to win, but if you get pocket aces, you're going to play them the way you should, or pocket kings. I was watching the World Poker Tours on Tubi, all the old episodes. So there's a tournament, and this guy has like a pair of nines or something, and I think he bets the flop a little, and then he checks. He's not betting a lot on the flop, and then he doesn't bet the turn. And you're like, okay, dude, you only got nines. Why aren't you betting the turn? Do you think, there was two spades out there. So actually, the guy was on a flush draw. So maybe he thought I couldn't bet it where he would fold. And sure enough, he checks, not protecting his hand. And then the river comes, the flush was made, and then he lost. So he lost a little, but he should have bet the nines, put in a big bet to protect and see if the guy folds. Maybe he calls, maybe he doesn't. It's a tournament. So if the guy's got a small stack, he's going to fold. If he's got a big stack, he'll call. So that's part of the tournament. But again, you've got to protect your hand. You can't check and then let the guy catch the flush on you because you didn't bet. I mean, that's just idiotic play. But anyway, that's the point. So I'll go with 3. That's all I can lose. If I can get it up to 5, I'll walk away and go buy $500 worth of silver, or maybe a tenth of an ounce of gold and $200 of silver. This will be the point. So that's what I'll do Friday. Kind of, how do I enjoy my birthday? Poor Daria. So she's got the tooth in the cheek somehow because she went for the dentist and had a cavity, and somehow he must have drilled it up, and whatever it did. I don't know how it's in there. So a man having a tooth in there, what do? Do they drill a little hole? Do they come up from the mouth? This I don't know. So she needs to get a CAT scan for some reason, and she needs surgery. So she's freaking out about it. So she hasn't been talking to me. She says, I'm just withdrawn. I don't want to, again, the Russian language. I'm withdrawn in myself, and I just don't, I don't want to talk to anybody. And she's dealing with it, and she's upset. And, you feel bad because you want to help her. But, I'm saying, why don't you just go to the dentist and let him drill it out? Because it won't be painful. Because I would think that the dentist could drill all the way up, I would think. But I don't know. So she said, no, I got to go to the doctor, and I got to do the CT scan, and then he's going to set up the operation. And I'm just scared out of my mind. And I kind of get it. I mean, I was scared, when you lose your job and you don't have it. That was my whole, can't think of that word. That was my whole rendition on now that you're retired, you don't get income coming in. And then how do you deal with it? Well, normally if you have a 401k or money in the stocks or in the bank, you just start pulling it out to pay for your retirement. Understanding you're not getting a paycheck, which is very hard to understand. Most people panic when they're not working. They want to get the paycheck in. That's why people get upset when they lose their job. It's like, how am I going to pay my bills? That's really what it is. And that's the golden handcuffs at the job where they're paying you. So you kind of got to play with their rules, right? Oh, I got to come in at 8 and work till 5 and take a short lunch. I can't be on my phone too much, and I can't do this or that, or they'll let me go. But that's where gold is. If you have gold, you don't worry about any of that shit. But that's really the thing. And so, but what happens if the money that you have for the retirement or for when you're not working isn't there? And that's really my whole recitation of what's going on is, but gold and silver will go up in value because of BRICS. Where the dollar will go to zero if it already isn't, and then you're holding 500,000 that's really worthless. That's why I showed you the shopping cart. So that's the Titanic part of the inflation and or the tariffs. So the tariffs hit, cause the company, if they have to pay for it, which they shouldn't, but let's say they do, well, it's going to cost somebody. So let's say it's the Canadian company who sells the lumber now has an extra 20% cost to his lumber. He's going to have to raise his price to cover it, and he's going to lay off people if people don't like the cost increase. If you're the only person I can buy from, and if you are competitive with my other people, then yes, I will have to do that. So that's where it's at with that. And then they start laying off people. But just because there's an increase doesn't mean prices go up. Prices go up for one reason and one reason only. There's no substitute, and the dollar is being inflated, and you have to buy it. If there's no substitution, so I can't go from steak to salmon, and I can't shop at a different store. If it's at mostly your utilities, my lights are my lights, my heat's my heat. I can't go to another store and buy it. So therefore, it is what it is. I hate that expression. Whatever it costs, but I can certainly, avocados. I went from one store to another, right? So all of a sudden, at Myers they're $2.50, but they're 99 cents at Walmart. So I go to Walmart's. Fine. They're both close to the gym. So that's really what you're doing if you allow the prices to increase. If you just substitute out, buy a Camry instead of a Ford, then that's how you as the consumer play the game. Stocks, you play the game. Poker, I know I'm at my point where I'm playing 1-2 no limit, and that's it. And I take 300, and that's it. Gold gets to the point there's no substitute. You can kind of go to silver as your substitute, but that's it. And it's the same at every store. So if I'm going to pay $100 over spot, so spot's $29.50 now, I'm going to pay $3,025 if I were to buy an ounce of gold. And that's really what's happening there. So but the difference with gold is you got to get it. The price is going up, it's insurance and an investment and no risk. So you just buy it. You don't care what the price is. That's one of the few things you don't care what the price is. Silver, the same thing. I just got to accumulate it. That's why I keep buying gold. I don't care what I spent. It is not income averaging. Well, I bought Amazon at $30 and now it's at 40. So really it's 35, not in gold and silver. You're accumulating as much as you can. And that's the difference. It's all accumulation. So you're just trying to buy more and more and more. And you buy silver as the lifeboat for gold's too expensive. So I'm getting into the silver lifeboat. But with tariffs, does the company, somebody's going to pay for the tariff. So the Canadian lumber company sees he's got it, can either go to Switzerland or Sweden and pay them at the same price, and Sweden then sends them to the U.S. and there's no tariffs because there's no tariffs on Sweden, and everybody's happy. But then there's this extra, Canada somehow has to pay something to Sweden, and then Sweden's got to ship it in. So there is other cost. Where and the U.S. has got a choice. I won't buy it from Canada. I'll buy it from somewhere else. So there's always options, possibly. But then at the end of the day, the price of lumber has gone up in Canada, and steel and other items, right, has gone up. Trump's missing the boat. You should have free trade and let the economy grow. He's killing the economy. We saw what the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act did, but it's not responsible for the Great Depression. That was FDR, and Keynes was responsible for it with printing the money and getting off of gold and the whole thing. That's what caused the Depression. FDR caused the Depression, not the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. Started it, but why they didn't end it and say, this isn't a good idea, I don't know. All the banks went out because the farmers couldn't sell their crops out of the country because they re-tariffed the U.S. It's not we tariffed them in, but to sell our goods, the farmers to sell it, there was no buyers because it got too expensive. So I don't know if we charged the farmers a tariff or not, but that was a way of trying to recover. But the stock market had already recovered, like what had happened in October. By February, March, it was pretty much back to like 250. So it was 290, went down to 29, and then it went back to 250 because it was all bullshit anyway. They got Madoff. So the tariffs interrupt free market and free trade, and it's a bad idea. Now, not every stock's going to get hurt because not every stock uses lumber and uses oil. I don't know. Coca-Cola, well, I don't need lumber to make Coke or Pepsi or whatever. So that's really, you can't just broad base the stock market. And it's not every product. So, all I can say is it's not good for the economy to raise prices. And that's what you've done. I'm charging you 10% more to bring your goods into here. At the end of the day, the goods cost more. At the end of the day, the guy selling the product that he needed the goods for, the lumber, did he have to pay for him? And then he's stuck because just because it costs you more does not mean you can pass it on to the consumer. More time, especially now with heavy inflation, more than likely you'll lay off people because you can't raise the price, or you go out of business like the barbecue places. There was 3, now there's 1. I don't know if they raised the price and nobody would buy or what, or nobody just, that I don't know what the other 2 restaurants did, but I know they were out. I'm sure it was a cost issue. The cost went up and they couldn't raise their prices, but they couldn't raise their prices because nobody would pay for it. If McDonald's goes to $20 for a hamburger, you're going to go there? Not if my grocery store, I can get hamburger for $5 a pound. Why would I spend 20 at McDonald's? I'll go buy 3 pounds of hamburger at $5 a pound, and for $15 I can make 10 hamburgers that you're selling to me for 1. So it doesn't make sense that. So again, the market dictates. So McDonald's, just because prices went up or inflation goes up, doesn't mean they can sell them for $20. They've already were 50 cents. So when I do these old shows on YouTube and they show McDonald's 50 cents for a Big Mac, well, they are $5. That's gone up, like 100% from 50 to $1. Every dollar is another 100%. So it's like gone up, 500% already, but nobody wants to look at it like that. But yeah, it used to be 50 cents for a Big Mac. It's now $5, $6. And now they're competing with these other restaurants. And so it's very difficult, and people have less money because when they do go to the grocery store, it's to fill the cart is a lot more money. Anyway, so that's what we're in there. So the tariffs, but even the stocks, and still what nobody's talking about is the money is worthless. That's the key. You can raise tariffs all you want. The money doesn't have a value. And that is what's going to kill you. Then they're doing this reserve, and they're going to put a crypto reserve. Yeah, tell me how that works. Really, you're going to put crypto in there? What happened to your gold? Oh yeah, you don't have any gold in your Fort Knox. You're fucked 9 ways from Sunday. So first of all, he doesn't have a reserve. He has a $37 trillion debt. What reserve are we talking about? Well, you don't have crypto. Crypto is individual. I might own crypto, or Luke might own crypto. Doesn't mean that. How are you going to get the crypto? You got to buy it. You don't have money to buy it. We are bankrupt. The USA and just about every country is bankrupt. The only countries not bankrupt are the BRICS, who have gold. That's their saving grace, because their dollar is bankrupt. Every dollar, this euro is bankrupt, right? The whole euro system is bankrupt because this is not worth anything, because you didn't back it with anything. You back it with gold to keep the value of the dollar. That's why the dollar itself's not worth anything. The yuan itself isn't worth anything. This whole FX system is a joke. Well, we'll make the euro 97 cents to the dollar. Where the fuck are you getting that from? How are you coming up with that? Well, based on inflation. You don't even know how to measure inflation. What are you talking about? So it's not good. The whole thing's just a Ponzi. There was I think an article I wanted to share with you. No, not this. So here's an interesting thing on silver. Every physical silver ounce has been sold up to 1,000 times. This is from Egon. And so what it says is that there's they're rehypothecating the silver in COMEX, and when you buy an ETF, you're getting fucked because it's 1 ounce, and then it's like 1/100th of an ounce if you buy an ETF. So you think you're buying an ounce of silver or gold, you're not buying anything, but they're selling 10,000 ounces for you for the 1 ounce, and that's the problem. So I looked at silver again. I'm seeing like gold 200,000 ounces and silver 1,000,002, and I'm like, silver, that's something's wrong with that. Silver's about 500,000-600,000 tons, not 1,000,004, 1,000,005. So I'm not quite sure if they're including the double counting what they're getting it from, but it's not double what gold is. Actually, it's 10-to-1 gold. That would mean it's 20,000 tons. If it's 200,000 tons, then it would be 20,000 tons of silver. Every single ounce of physical investment silver is estimated to have 500 to 1,000 paper claims to it. This is what the derivative is, and this is the problem. This is why you cannot buy ETFs. 500 to 1,000 paper claims. This is why you don't want to be in paper. You must buy physical. You have it in your hand and you're set. If you don't have it in your hand, you're fucked. If you have paper, that's why everything on Comex is going to physical. It's going to physical delivery because they don't want to. Um, they don't want to get the IOU, right? So if you're in Comex and you are on the other side of a derivative, so if they're selling, you're buying. You don't want to get paper. Okay, I owe you 100 ounces of gold. No, 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 no. I want the 100 ounces of gold or whatever the derivatives for. I want the physical, and that's why everything's breaking because Comex is not made to cover it physically. It doesn't have any gold. It really can't find any. You can't go to the mines. They're being bought out by China and Russia, and then you can't. Where you're gonna go to my guy's store? Yeah, I need 100 tons of gold. Yeah, well, good luck on that. Uh, Comex, who knows how much they have in the vaults? Um, China and Russia have a lot, but they're not going to sell it, not at these prices. So that's where the prices are screwing everybody up. Nobody wants to sell at these prices because everybody realizes it's a made off and everybody realizes they're worth a lot more. What do you mean $3,000? I know gold's $10,000. Why would it be worth three? And I see more demand for gold, and you're fucking the money up. As this becomes less valuable, gold goes higher and higher. So why would I sell you my gold at 3,000 when these are all going out? And I think gold's worth 10 grand. So I don't want to give it to you for three. And that dilemma, that's my retirement dilemma. So you're sitting there going, well, how do I pay my bills? Oh, well, normally if I had my money, if I had my 500K in the bank, I could just pull 1,000 out and cover my bills. But then you're realizing the dollar would be losing value, and soon my 500,000 is worth 200 on its way to zero. And that's why I buy the gold. And that's really where everybody's lost and not understanding that little key thing. But again, uh, my problem is I don't want to sell my gold at these cheap prices. So what I should do is take an ounce of gold and cash it in, get $3,000, and then pay my bills. I don't want to do that because I know the gold is not worth 3,000; it's worth 10,000. So why do I want to sell it for three? And that's my dilemma. So that's why I need money in the safe because I got to wait. It's really just a leverage of taking it until the gold goes up. Then then I don't need the money in the safe. Or if the dollar goes out, I'll switch it for the new dollar. But it's so I don't have to sell my gold to pay a credit card or to pay for food. I can then then I take the money out of the safe to pay for it as opposed to selling the gold to it. So it's a bridge giving me time with the money in the safe to not have to sell my gold at these ridiculously low prices or silver. So once gold and silver, see, I'm banking, they'll go up. The people with the 401ks, I don't know what they're thinking. Do you think your $500,000 401k in your mutual funds are going up? Are you kidding? In this economy with the massive inflation, the massive debt, and now whatever the tariffs have raised the cost on things, that can't be good. You already raised the cost, already got raised because of the inflation. The money lost value. So it takes more dollars to buy what you need to run your business. Now the inflation, it's going to cost you even more money to run your business. Now you're worried about what the fuck is going on here. Now Trump says, well, we're going to do tariffs and get rid of income tax because we want the people to buy, and the people are stronger if they keep their money than if they give it to the government because the government can't spend. They spend like idiots. And so that's really what that probably is his thought, but the tariffs aren't going to help you. So I think he thinks, well, I'll get more income in from tariffs than I will taxes. And if the individual keeps his money, he then can stimulate the economy better than I can do it. So I lower taxes but you've got to kill the inflation, which you can't do only with gold. And if you went into Fort Knox and there isn't any. So now you can't use gold to back the money and the money's worthless. you're basically the president of a bankrupt country. Oh, we can't be bankrupt. We're the reserve currency. These strawberries taste like shit. There's like no taste to them. So how can we go bankrupt if we're the reserve? How did the Romans go bankrupt? How did England went bankrupt? Oh yeah, England spent all their gold on weapons for World War One and World War Two. How did France go bankrupt? Spending money on Napoleon's wars. So even though you're the reserve currency with gold and silver, if you go to war and you need weapons and you spend your money on it, you go bankrupt. I got it. And that's really what happens. Just because you're the reserve currency doesn't mean shit. Just because the U.S. is the reserve currency, it's all gone. It's the bye-bye blues. Forget about it. And that's what we're dealing with here. So if you want to retire, you retire in gold and silver because they will go up in value and the dollar is going down. The market is going down and the economy is not growing because you've got too much government spending. That's why he's doing doggy with Elon Musk to look at all the bullshit. Oh, that's already money spent already. That doesn't help you. Now maybe you cut it out. Maybe you can balance your budget. Maybe, but I doubt you can because of the military spend and the Social Security spend, Medicare spend, and all the government jobs that you need to pay. Where does how do all these senators and congressmen get paid? Well, I mean, besides the lobbyists, the government prints the money. How do all these government workers get paid? They print the money. There's no revenue. It's not a business, right? So the Department of Education, there's no revenue coming in. They're just simply putting, wait till they get to colleges and they see all the waste there. Why does Michigan charge, $100,000 for school? What are you kidding me? That's because the government subsidizes it. So wait till they get to there and then see all the government waste there. There's a ton of government waste because they're like children. They just spend and they don't care and they won't arrest themselves. JP Morgan. So this is where you have all that. Jamie Dimon just sold all his shares in JP Morgan. As the president, why are you selling shares? Because he knows they're fucked. Because all these loans aren't going to be repaid and all these derivatives, they have to have physical to pay them off and they don't. And it's too expensive to get it. So they're going to go up. As they say in hockey, I fanned on my sneeze. So that's what you really need to understand is the dollar's worthless. So you're preparing to retire with your money in the bank. Money's not there. It's not worth anything. I got $1 million in the bank. Yeah, well, that'll cover a month of your retirement. Again, things will be more expensive and the dollar won't be worth anything. So like they said in Germany in 1923, you could buy a nice house that probably was $1 million for $100 because the dollar wasn't worth anything and nobody wanted it or could afford it. So 5 ounces of gold at $20 an ounce bought the house. That's where we're headed. You lose all value in the currency. But gold you can't because it can't be printed. Only physical gold. So remember that. Don't ever forget that. As I say here, estimated investment silver is estimated to have 500 to 1,000 paper claims. So you own paper silver or paper gold, you're never getting it because there's 1,000 claims to the ounce. And that's what you got to do. So that's why you have to buy physical and you better buy it soon because the price is going up. It's not going to correct. It's not going to flatline because there's too many people who need it. It's the only lifeboat. So you must accumulate gold and you must accumulate silver. There is no other option. If there was, I would let you know. Yes, this is an option. The Montana is an option, obviously graded 10, but that's where you still need to buy it, right? So right now, gold and silver is simpler because it is money. Uh, your Bitcoin, that's dropping like a weight because people are realizing it's not real, it's not anything, and they'll start getting into gold. So what you're going to have is people who need money are going to sell their stocks, get out of the banks, get out of the real estate trust, get out of their Bitcoin, and they need money to eat. And then they'll buy gold and silver because they'll start to realize that's their only way out. That's real money that can't be inflated. And there's only so much of it. So the price has to keep going up as more people need it because their dollars all over the world are worthless. Every country, except for Zimbabwe, which has the ZIG, and now all these BRICS countries, their money is worthless now, but they have gold. So when the gold goes up, when they start coming out with gold-backed currency, Russia, China, and BRICS, then then their dollar won't go down anymore, and that's what we're waiting for. So somebody asked me in the sauna, well, what are you going to do with your gold? Who are you going to sell it to? I said, you don't understand. I point blank, very stoically said, but gold will be the money. Gold is the money now, but it will be the money. I'm not going to sell it for fiat. Not, I'm gonna use it as money. And the look on the guy's face, because he was one of these Mr. Know-it-all financial planner guys or whatever, okay, you got to sell your gold for fiat. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't sell it for fiat. You do if you have a bill. All of a sudden Daria is going to the hospital. I don't know what that's going to cost, if anything. It's Russia. Well, see, so I need $500 to cover the operation. Okay, well, then if I needed to, I could sell a quarter ounce, get $800 and pay for her operation. But I would only sell it to immediately pay a bill in that currency. Otherwise, I wouldn't sell it. I'm not going to sell 20 ounces and get $60,000. What good is that? I don't want to see, that's the whole point. I don't want to sell 20 ounces, 3,000 an ounce, $60,000. What do I do with that? I purposely sold the $60,000 to buy gold because the dollar keeps going down. The last thing I want to do is sell the gold just to hope to get back into dollars. I don't want to get on the Titanic again. I just I'm on the lifeboat now. I don't want to get back on the Titanic. And that's the problem. This is not for profit taking. This is not for arbitrage. That's bullshit. You don't do that. There's no point because I don't want to. I'm getting out of the dollar. Why do I want to get back into the dollar? That's what arbitrage is. Oh, I made $100. Big deal. It's dollars. You didn't make anything. I sold my gold. I bought it at 2,000. I sold it at 2,900. I made $900. You didn't make anything because you're back in dollars. You do not sell your gold at this point. Wait till July 1st. Wait till everything hits the fan. But you certainly don't want to buy this, which is worthless, or this, which is worthless. You don't want these. I don't want the euro or the British pound or any of that. All these countries are broke because they keep printing money to pay for pensions and Social Security and their military and their debt. They're all heavily in debt. So you keep printing, so the dollar keeps losing value faster and faster and faster because you got to print more. And as we get older, because a lot of people had babies after World War II, you're born in the 50s, you're born in the 60s, you're now at retirement age, trying to, you need the pensions and the Social Security. So that cost has gone up. There's less people working. If you go to AI or robots, those people don't pay taxes. So you got to be careful with that. But that's really where you're headed, right? You're headed into very bad financial situation because the people in charge have no idea what they're doing. If you think Trump knows what he's doing, sorry. Elon Musk, prophet said Tesla's going under or has gone under. Yeah, because it doesn't it costs a lot and there's no revenue coming in. Sounds like a government, right? The problem with government is you spend all this money with no revenue coming in, and taxes aren't really revenue. You're taking it from someone, you're stealing it from us, and you have no right to take my money. It's my money. I earned it, all of it. 100%. If I get $100, you're not entitled to $20, and I only get 80 because I got to give you tax money. What the fuck is that? What kind of system is that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No, it's my money. I earned it. It's mine. What do you mean you get 10% or 20%? Well, we have to pay taxes. Bullshit. Not in the Constitution, and not until 1914 did we start paying income tax. Now, I don't know what we did in the 1880s. I know we're on the gold standard and we were the most productive time in the history of the world. So I don't know what we did under the gold standard. Maybe we just didn't need to pay taxes. Maybe because they had the gold, there was a lot less government spending. It encouraged entrepreneurship. That's where you had Standard Oil and all the Rothschilds and all that came into play because they had gold, and you shouldn't have to pay taxes. So a lot was like Standard Oil came up with oil. That was, I think, what, Rockefeller, one of those guys. Now we're in the world of Madoff. Well, I'll just scam everybody. The one puzzle I have with Madoff is why he kept the scam going. And once it hit 2007 and he could see the housing crisis coming, why he just didn't end it and say, yeah, you know what? We're losing. He could have easily blamed the market and said, you know what? Gosh darn it, the market's going down. We're losing. So I'm going to pay you out with what I have, and the rest of you, thanks for playing. And never have gotten caught that he was doing a Ponzi scheme. Or was he that stupid he didn't understand the housing crisis was there in 2007 and 2008? As I said, I saw it coming in 1997 when Clinton said, hey, we're going to give mortgages to everybody. And as soon as I heard that, knowing Austrian economics, knowing markets, you're fucked. How are you going to pay for it? You don't. Well, we're the government. We'll cover you if you default. That was their point to the banks. Because the banks didn't want to give out the loans, and Clinton forced them to. And then they started, but you could see what was going to happen, right? They're not going to be able to pay the mortgages off. And that's the problem with it. What else? Anything else? Students? Football draft coming, as I said. Basketball, I don't waste I don't even know what channel. Everything's like so hard even to find the channels. I mean, it's not on normal TV anymore. They're totally, like, I saw something was on Amazon Prime, or Apple has their own, and it's like, why would I ever spend 5 cents on Amazon Prime or Apple or any NBC? No, why would I got regular TV? If you want me to watch it, throw it on regular TV, and you're going to run ads up the ass anyway. Otherwise, I'll just watch the replay on YouTube. Do I need to see it live? No. Even if I bet, and I bet, I bet football, I don't need to watch it live. Now, college football and pro are smart enough to still have the normal games on ABC, NBC, and ESPN, or CBS, Fox. So they're smart enough to understand to keep it on those. I don't know where the NBA's at. I don't know. Hockey, do they even still play? I mean, it's just ridiculous. What do they have this 4-division playoff for the All-Star break? What, they can't play an All-Star game? That's the point of the All-Star game. You want to see all the All-Stars out there. No, we're going to do 4 countries. What was it? Sweden, Finland, the U.S., and Canada. Who cares? Oh, it's you. Who cares? It's all bullshit. Nobody cares. I thought that was just a stupid idea. I didn't know what channel it was on. I didn't know what time it was on. If I didn't listen to the radio going to the pool, I would have not even known what it was. And I don't care who won, and I didn't care anything about it. Absolutely stupid. But what channel was it on? What time was it on? I don't know. You're getting away from the free market. The free market wants to watch football on Fox 1 o'clock on a Sunday without 700 commercials every 15 minutes and without needing instant replay. And if a guy gets injured, oh, we need to take 20 minutes of commercial. It's like watching a movie that they keep interrupting. What's the plot? Oh, who is this? Oh, that's a commercial. Where are we going? And then you got to rewind to get back to the plot of that's why I watch 24 on disc. So there's no commercial breaks. So it's great. The clock comes on, to end the scene, and the clock comes on to begin 5 minutes later. But there's no commercials. Like when I go to bed, I'll turn on Netflix because I don't have any commercials. Because if it's Tubi, I gotta, oh wait, there's commercials. But it's just ridiculous. But keep in mind, it all comes down to us. We are the market. We control the prices. The only time we don't is if there's no substitution, if it's a monopoly, which is what JP Morgan wants. He must hate there's other banks. I'm sure he wants to be the only bank, but look for them to collapse because they'll have to cover their derivatives, and they can't. There's not enough gold to cover your derivatives. And that's really what we're getting to is you've done it with the 4% gold and 96% paper. And so you haven't paid off these derivatives, and that's what's going to happen. So it's not like, oh, well, we'll just go buy gold to cover it. Well, good luck, because you can't find it. And it's certainly going to be a lot more expensive than you think. And you're going out because you can't pay off your derivatives. And the people you're fucking around with, the Chinese and the Russians, aren't going to take that. Jack Bauer showed the Zingsi showed how they are. But that's really the point of it. What else can I teach you? That's about it. I'm going to do my taxes today. It was funny. Yesterday, I go get the mail, and I think after class, so I went to the bank, and he printed out everything. And then I go to the mail, and there's my W-2 and my Social Security statement that says, this is how much we paid you last year, which is what I need. But fortunately, my W-2 is low, so I should be in a nice low tax bracket. But I got a decent amount in Social Security and unemployment. So that's where you're at. So money's money. But it's all fake. And then you just wait for gold to come in. Now, what'll happen with Social Security and Medicare when the dollar goes away? They'll have to have a new dollar to use in the market. The marketplace needs a dollar. I need to take something to buy steak and fish and chicken with, and veggies and whatever. I need that to go out to eat. I need something in the marketplace that I can pay with. That's what the market is, and that's what the medium of exchange of the dollar is. It's a medium of exchange. They had tulips, but that's cumbersome, so they went to dollar. This is what we've determined is the best way to do medium of exchange. You're just not supposed to print it to death. So what they tend to do is come out with new ones. Well, that one's no good. It's inflated. You know what? Gosh darn it, the Russians are counterfeiting it. Let's use USD number 2, which is basically a default on 1. And everything gets congregated to, oh, wait, this was $100. Now it's worth, take $100 of the old currency, will buy you $20 of the new currency, even though the new currency is backed by nothing and will be inflated to death, but it'll be inflated to death sooner. And that's what'll happen. So it's not a collapse of the economy. It's a collapse of the dollar. The economy's fine as long as you feed it a new dollar. As long as you give it a new medium of exchange, the economy will work. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, look at France. They went broke in 95 or 1810. They went broke, but they came out with a new currency. England went broke in 1920 when they had to pay for World War I with all their gold and then start with World War II. So maybe they went bankrupt in 1930. But what did they do? They printed a new pound. Why the dollar only by, why the pound is like $1.20 to the dollar, so it's worth more, is beyond me, because how can that possibly be? They're not backed by gold. Oh, now we understand that the Britons are the ones who are running everything and they're bankrupt. So I don't know. The whole system's going to collapse, and here comes BRICS to save the day with their gold backed system. And it will save the day, because at the end of the day, it's the gold. The golden rule always wins. He who has the gold makes the rules, and that will not change. And that's where we're at. And basically, BRICS has the gold. Why is the U.S. this stupid? Because of Keynes. Why did they listen to Keynes? Because they're fucking idiots. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But Keynes basically destroyed the whole Western civilization with his idiot thinking of just print as much money as you want. There's no problem. I mean, what a fucking idiot. And so they don't listen to the Austrians, except for us. And that's where it's at. So the West goes under, but the East goes to gold. And then we beg for gold from the East. We can't buy anything from the East because our money's, it'll take $20,000 to buy a pack of gum from Russia because they're pricing it in gold and we're pricing it in dollars. That's your only hope, is gold. So, it's not like I'm against anything. I'm giving you the most logical explanation for what you need to do, and I'm trying to explain what it is. I love how Egon said, well, I'm not a gold bug. Yeah, you are. And what's wrong with that? And I hate the term stacker. I'm not a stacker. I'm a collector. I'm not stacking my baseball cards, my football cards. I'm collecting them. And that's what I'm doing with gold and silver. You're collecting it. So your thought process must be, I know the gold's going to zero. Now, if you don't believe that, please comment and let me know why you don't. If you keep printing it, it will lose its value, as I show you the grocery store, where the $20 filled the cart in 1975, 1980, and today there's 5 items in the cart. Go try to shop for $20. See what you tell me you get. I mean, avocados are 98 cents. I buy 10 of them because I buy for the week. Plus, I bought one. That would be $1. And, whatever else, the other veggies I'm buying, it's $3 for a head of cauliflower and $3 for a head of broccoli. I'm at $7. I get red leaf lettuce. That's 2 more. That's $9. I need dressing. That's another $3. $12. I needed some some half and half milk. Actually, dairy for my tea or coffee, or for my eggs. Eggs are $5. I mean, go try to stay under $20. You'll have 4 items. Everything's like $3. My pita bread, $3, and there's only 8 pitas in it. I'm gonna have to stop making the whole one and cut it into halves, and then I'll have 16 pitas. I think I might have to do that, because psychologically, you eat till you're done anyway. But that's why we do it. This is very, very logic based, but it is economics. I like how that when Cowboy said, Austrian, he's trying, listens to me, and then he's trying to explain Austrian economics is like logical, and Keynesian is, whatever he said. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. It's free market. That's what we're doing here, is free market, how things work in a market. First, we got to define the market. Then we got to use the medium of exchange to buy and sell things in the market. And then we look for competitive, I can bet strawberries here for $4 and here for $2. I'll buy them for $2. Then you're using logic to shop and replace and substitute your goods, and look for stores where it's cheaper, and you look for skills that pay more than others, and you look for places to live, and you basically, everything is competition and substitution. I'm going to substitute this steak for that steak, or I'm going to shop here because it's cheaper. Like I say, where I buy my meat, I don't buy anything else. The Ken's dressing is like $4.50 there. I can go to Myers, it's $3. So why buy the same exact product at one market versus the other? And that's really the key to it. And your money is going out because they don't know how to maintain the money. They print it and they don't think anything can happen. And that's really the key one, because the money controls everything. So as the money loses value, you're fucked. But you don't know the money's losing your value. That's why I show you the grocery carts. That's why I say gold was 35 an ounce. It's now 2,900, and it's still not close to its real value. They're keeping it down with derivatives. What's a derivative? So, that's really what we're trying to really dig in and understand. You should always ask, why is gold 2,900? Why isn't it 29,000? Well, they've been keeping the price down. Oh, so the demand's much higher than the price. Yes. Now I get it. And the dollar has no value because they printed too much of it. So if you print a lot and you water it down, what's the term I used? My mind. If you water down with too much dollars, you end up where they lose all their value. And that's what we're doing now. We're watering down the dollars. We have this huge debt, which everybody just ignores. Oh, well, we'll default on it. Oh, well, yeah, that doesn't work then. Then nobody will trust you, and you need the money to run your government, because you spend more than you take in, because you're trying to take it in from income tax. But as less people are working and more people are retiring, you're not getting income tax. So it's a very vicious thing that you must understand, but they don't tell you that, right? Nobody's teaching you this in school. The government certainly doesn't, and the government lies to you constantly. Don't worry about inflation. It's 2%. It's prices. Yeah. And what fantasy are you living that it's prices? And then in what fantasy are you living that the prices are year over year? What do I got? I got Pepsi was a dime in 1971. It's now $3 for a similar can. That's not no inflation. If we're actually measuring it in prices, which we're not, we're measuring it in how much money is produced. You cannot produce. You can't print that much money. You're washing the money. You're flooding the market. That's what I like. You're flooding the market with dollars. The market can't take it. That'd be like me. It's like us going to the restaurant and we order 10 slabs of ribs. We can only eat, if we can even eat one. I can eat one, but I can't eat 10. Or if I get steak, it's great. I got one, but I can't eat 5. That's flooding the market, right? You can't absorb it all. There's too many dollars out there, and then all the dollars you use for the petrodollar aren't needed because they don't need dollars to buy oil. So now all those they go to their bank saying, "Here, I want to get rid of the dollars. Give me my currency." The dollars get shipped back to the U.S. And now you're really fucked, because now you really have flooded the market with all the dollars coming from the petro people and all these currencies where I'm taking Swiss francs. I got to buy dollars to buy British pounds. Why do I do that? Why can't I just take Swiss francs and buy British pound? Why do I need dollars to do it? And that's really the Ponzi scheme that everybody got scammed on, because why do I need US dollars to do this transaction? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And that's really where BRICS is coming from. They're going, well, okay, you had to, because I don't know why. I don't know where they came up with this, but then there's no competition to the dollar. Well, that's because they rigged the system. The competition is gold, and it's more than competition. It'll win. So that's really what you need to understand. Profit, I hope everything goes well. I guess I would, in Profit's world, I would, what's my value for spending the shipping? Right. So I got to pay for shipping. What do I get for it? Why am I paying for the shipping? Why isn't the other person paying for the shipping? And then I pay and then just give her all the items and I don't keep any of them. So I paid her shipping. Is that what this whole thing's about? Maybe, maybe not. Um, so I don't think so because it sounds like you know this person for a while. So I think you can ask her point blank, well, I'll pay for shipping. And then what do I get? And then, oh, okay, I get some of the stuff. Okay, fine. It's worth to pay for that to get, one bar will more than pay for the shipping. So if you get 10 bars, whatever. So that's kind of what I would ask. That's the next part of it. But do you have the money to pay for the shipping? And I assume you got a hell of a lot of insurance. I don't know, but that's the other part of it. So we will see. So anyway, uh, I think that's about it. I'll do my tax return today, and I should break about even. So if you're ever working and you only work a few months and you're making decent money, they're going to tax you at a higher rate, and assuming you're working the whole year. So when I started at Tenneco in November and December, as I'm getting my paychecks, they see the amount, they see it's weekly. They're pulling out a lot more tax based on, well, he's going to make so much for 52 weeks. So they tax me at this high rate. And then it's only 2 months. So you've taken out more taxes than I'm going to need to pay. So that's where I should get a refund, but I do owe on like unemployment. For some reason it's income, which I don't know how it becomes income. It's an insurance claim, so why is insurance income? And then I don't pay tax on it, so I got to pay a little bit of tax on that. So what I gain on Tenneco, I pay to the unemployment. Again, it's at a very low rate because I didn't make much last year, although I did make a lot in Social Security, as it turns out. So my money I got was pretty good between the job and the Social Security and a little bit from unemployment. So anyway, that's what I'll be doing, I think, today. And that's about it. So I'm going to eat and go to swim, and that's it. Yes, I'm going to eat. I know I had my avocado in my thing, and it's a snack. But I'm in my eating window between really 11 and 7 is my eating window. So I got to get that down. Anyway, any other questions or comments? Why do we even need a petrodollar? Well, we don't anymore. The US dollar was the petrodollar because the agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia is we'll protect you, but everybody has to use US dollars to buy oil. Why they did that? They wanted the protection because they have a lot of oil and they don't want Russians and Chinese and whoever else invading them and stealing their oil. So you'd think they could have done it a different way. So that was what the petrodollar was. It was you had to buy US dollars to buy oil. And now you don't. Now Saudi Arabia is open to anybody. Very soon they're going to want gold for their oil, as they should. They shouldn't take anybody's dollars because, as we know, all the dollars are worthless and the oil has value. So that's what's going to happen is that. But that's why the petrodollar was there, was strictly to buy oil. And now you want to buy it in yuan or yen or rubles. You wouldn't. The Russians wouldn't. They have their own oil. But let's say Germany, they'll buy oil in euros. But there's competition. I can buy from Russia. I can buy from Venezuela. I can buy. It's funny how all the communist countries have oil. Venezuela and Iraq and Iran and Russia. They all have the oil. It's funny how that is, and they're all terrible economies. Although Russia's getting better, but the rest. I looked at Iraq and Iran. Their dollar is heavily inflated, and Venezuela's huge inflation. The dictators just don't know how to run Austrian economics. They want to be the dictator, but they don't know how to do their money. But that's all the petrodollar ensured that the dollar would be used to buy oil, so you never were worried about it. But then you had to print a lot of them, And that's good as long as the petrodollar's there. Now that the petrodollar's not, nobody needs them, and they're coming back and flooding the market in the U.S. with these petrodollars. Now you're getting 5 steaks at your meal, which you can't eat. You can only eat one. And that's what's happened. So that's really what the petrodollar was. Um, and there's a lot of these smaller countries who everybody needs oil. So I don't know where Biden is. Oh, we won't use oil anymore. Yeah, we'll all look at wind power and solar power. Yeah, but what if it's nighttime and there's no wind? Well, you're fucked then. You'll have no energy. Or electric cars. What a stupid idea that was. I don't. Yeah, what you're doing. That's if oil is very expensive, but to think that oil is going away, oil is never going away. There's a ton of oil in the earth. I don't know how it's made by the earth, but there is. So you probably got 1,000 years of oil supply left. So it seems to be a lot in the deserts. So I don't know. I don't know how it works, but they drill it in and then they pump it out and then they put it in the barrels and refine it. However that procedure is. It's sort of like making whiskey. You take potatoes and you ferment it, and it smells like shit, and it turns into a lot of sugar, and then they add some ingredients, and then they pour it into a whiskey bottle. Say, so this is a bunch of potatoes, basically fermented potatoes for 12 years. Hopefully they're baked potatoes and not mashed potatoes. Anyway, so that's really what's happening. Anything else? So again, 2 shows. Do you like the little thumbnails I'm putting out there? Because there's a lot of Vegas, and I see these others, and they got all these gold bars and stuff like that. But I always have myself and my thing, so I'm like, let's put these out there. So I like them, so that's all that matters. Anyway, I think that's about it. Anything else? The Romans, that's what did them in. They printed their dollar. They took all their gold and silver out of their currency, which is inflating it, which Alligator actually called debasing, and yet why he still thinks you debase paper, I don't know. But he said they took the gold and silver out of their coins. I think that was Alligator, and they debased their coins. And I'm like, then why do you call it the dollar? So he got that right. But that's so then they inflated, because then their money lost the backing, right? So when this is not backed by gold, this is worthless. And that's what the Romans did. They took all their gold and silver out of their currency. They made their currency worthless. Didn't matter how much they printed. What mattered is there was no gold or silver in their currency. So it's like holding a rock. It doesn't have a value. If it's gold, it has a value. Silver, it has, it's like this card has value because it's Montana and it's his rookie card. But then I can pull out Joe Smith. Well, his has no value because nobody knows who he is. And that's really the key to it. So that's what's going on. Again, my birthday is the 7th. Today's the 4th. So that's Friday. I think I'll be playing poker. It depends how I feel. And usually I get a little urge. And it's like, and I'm starting to feel that now. Hey, why don't I go play poker? I haven't played in a while because I'm totally satisfied going to the coin store as a replacement and buying gold and silver. Why take a risk at the poker table? But I think since it's my birthday, I want to get out, and it's not far. It's about 20 minutes. I'll go early afternoon, I think, and then I'll swim after. And like I said, I'll get lunch at the barbecue place, then go there and see what I do. And again, I'll start with 300. If I kind of look at it as if I'm catching cards. So as I watch the gambler and I see he caught every card and then he leaves like an idiot. If I start aces and ace king and ace queen and jacks and nines, then I'll be fine. I'll stay. And I still got to be careful. If I start with 2-9 for 45 minutes, I tend to get up and leave going, okay, Yeah, I'm not catching cars. I'm not playing 2-9 and 3-8. So therefore, you also get that. So a lot depends on the cards you're getting dealt. And some days you get the aces, and some days you get the 3-8s. And you go from there. So I guess that's it. So the tariffs again, I'm not sure. It really will affect the companies in Canada, Mexico, and China who send the goods. Who then it's $100, and now I got to add 20 to the bill. That's who it really initially affects. Now the people buying them, are they going to raise the price? So I'm going to make it 110, and I'm going to pay $22 in tariffs. So I'm going to charge you more to cover the tariff. They might try, and if you don't have a substitute, you'll pay it if you need it. If I need steel and I can't buy it anywhere else, I'll buy it, or lumber, or whatever is coming from Canada, Mexico, and China. Otherwise, I say fuck off, and I don't need to pay you. I'll buy the guy from Sweden and Norway. So that's what it is. But tariffs are just you're charging the company bringing it into the U.S., not the U.S. itself. Now they counter it, where Canada says, "Well, then you're going to pay us 20% tariffs when you sell stuff to us." We don't sell stuff to Canada, do we? We basically buy stuff and make it and sell it here. So there is some stuff I'm sure we sell to Canada, but not a lot. Maybe cars, I don't know. But I think there's what do you do with Ford of Canada and GM of Canada? They're in Canada. So actually, we're making Ford products in Canada. So I don't know how that works. But anyway, that's about it. Let's check our gold as we are done entertaining. Oh, let's check the stock market again. $42.6, so it's down $500. And gold is at 29.11, up $19. Silver 31.86. So silver, we don't care. I mean, it'll hit 33, but they're going to keep pushing it down. So don't get too frustrated with silver. Realize it's at least $500, $700 an ounce, and you're buying it for 31. Well, you'll probably pay 33. Realize that so you don't get too frustrated. Realize it's a buy because this is derivative silver, and we know the demand's huge. So we know the real price of silver, like I said, $500-$600, and you can get it for 31. That's the mindset you got to have. Not why isn't it going up, or it's never going up. It's going up because of bricks. It's going up because of these solar panels. They need silver. The military stuff, they need silver, but that's not even part of it. It's the money. As the dollar goes out, you need gold and silver. It's part of the lifeboat, and this part of the lifeboat's 31.85. We don't care about the ratio. It has nothing to do with the ratio. Well, gold's 29.11 and silver's 31.85, and it's 90 some percent. We don't care about that. Oh, it'll be 10-1. We don't care about that. Silver's undervalued. Silver will move once we get rid of this COMEX crap. Then silver moves, and we don't know where it's going. We don't know. It might go all the way to 29.11. If the gold's 29.11, silver might be equal to it. Maybe silver's $100 less because you can't afford the gold. Again, you only have so much money. So you're going to buy gold, but as gold gets 5,000 an ounce, there's a lot less buyers if you can even find it. And then silver's there if you can even find that. And I think what'll happen is gold will be more, but it'll be far more hard to find. And it's going to be people who already have the gold selling it. And the silver is probably just about depleted. I don't buy this million tons of silver. I got to look some more, but I thought it was 600,000 tons, and gold was 200,000 tons. That's what I thought it is. So I'm seeing a million tons, and I'm like, where's that coming from? So I'm not buying. I'm not smelling what they're cooking, so I don't buy it. But whatever, it is money. As the money goes out and the gold gets higher and people realize silver is also money, then you'll see an explosion in the silver. It won't be volatile because the volatility is the derivatives, and we won't have the derivatives anymore. So it'll just skyrocket up, just like the Montana card. There's no valleys, peaks and valleys in it. So anyway, that's what you got. 29.12 gold. High for today, 29.24. But it's we're past the 10 o'clock point. So I would think it'll get to 29.20. And then let's see what the Chinese have been kind of coming in doing derivatives down, which is surprising. So I would think they should come out with naked go, and we could see 29.50 tomorrow. Anyway, there really shouldn't be, but look how quickly it jumped back up, right? We had the problem. It jumped down to 28.40 or something, and boom, back to 29.12. So that's the price. And then they're just playing around with the derivatives. As the derivative goes up, they go, oh, we can short it. Oh, and as it goes down, oh, we can long it. That's all they're doing. It's got nothing to do with anything except these idiots doing derivatives because it's only 4% gold. But as they realize they need physical, they're gonna stop playing the game because they can't cover the physical gold. It isn't any defined. The U.S. got it in, but that was to pay the derivatives, and it's going to get harder and harder because there's not any gold out there to get. Go visit Russia and China. That's where you're going to get it from. So basically, that's what's going on. So anything else, Prophet? All right. Well, good luck, Prophet, on your thing. And Pat, I didn't see you today. Luke, off to Capitol Grill soon, I guess. Bobby Bo, have a good day. And that's it. Everybody else, have a good day. And again, www.teaserking.com. Enjoy your day. Relax. Buy your gold and silver, no stress. You don't have to worry that your 401k is losing value and the money you have isn't worth anything. That's the key. You buy the gold and silver, even if you can just afford silver, just buy it. It's a $500, $600 ounce for $30. How can you lose? Anyway, have a good day, everybody. All right, take care.